Good morning, students. In this session, I am going to teach prevention and control of diseases. How can we prevent and control the diseases? So we studied there are different types of diseases, infectious and non-infectious diseases. So first we're going to learn about the infectious diseases. Infectious diseases can be prevented through maintenance of personal and public hygiene. So mainly we should maintain personal hygiene as well as public hygiene. Diseases can be grouped as food and waterborne diseases, airborne diseases, vector-borne diseases. So mainly we are getting diseases or it is spreading through different ways. So one is food and waterborne disease, second airborne disease, third vector-borne or insects, mosquitoes, houseflies, vector-borne diseases. First one is food and waterborne diseases. Proper personal hygiene include keeping the body clean, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetables, fruits, etc. First, we have to maintain personal hygiene. How can you maintain personal hygiene? To keep our body clean, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetables, fruits, etc. Second, proper public hygiene, which includes proper disposal of waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs, pools, cesspools, and tanks, and observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering. So these are the different ways we can make sure that public hygiene is proper. How is it? We have to, first one is which includes proper disposal of waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs, pools, cesspools, and tanks, and also observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering. So which are the examples for waterborne diseases? Food and waterborne disease, typhoid, amoebiasis, ascariasis. All these diseases we are getting through food or water. Okay, they are food and waterborne diseases. The next, airborne diseases, it means it's spreading through air. Close contact with infected person and their belongings should be avoided. So if any person is having cold or cough or something, always keep a distance from that person, infected person. So close contact with the infected person and their belongings, same like whatever things he is using, we should not touch. Otherwise, we will become sick. Their belongings should be avoided. Second, personal hygiene is also very important to prevent diseases. Second point, personal hygiene. We have to take bath, we have to clean our, even cut our nails, trim hair trimming, taking bath, all this. Okay, hand wash, all the things. Personal hygiene is also very important to prevent diseases. Example, for airborne diseases, pneumonia, common cold. Common cold, pneumonia, these are the example for airborne diseases. Third one is vector-borne diseases. Controlling or eliminating the vectors and their breeding places. Okay, I told you the vector mainly the mosquitoes, houseflies, all these. So controlling or eliminating the vectors and their breeding places. Avoiding stagnation of water in and around residential areas. Regular cleaning of household coolers. Use of mosquito nets. All these we have to practice. Okay, so because there is a stagnant water, mosquitoes obviously they will lay eggs. They will hatch out and they will spread, number will increase. It leads to different types of diseases like malaria, dengue fever, or chikungunya, all these diseases. So avoiding stagnation of water in and around residential areas, regular cleaning of household coolers, use of mosquito net, introducing fishes like gambusia in ponds that feed on mosquito larvae. Okay, so we can introduce fish like gambusia. So what this fish will do, it will feed on mosquito larvae. Okay, so we can kill this larvae. Spraying of insecticides in ditches, drainage areas and swamps, etc. Spraying insecticides in ditches, drainage areas and swamps. Doors and windows, wire mesh to prevent the entry of mosquitoes. Okay, the doors and windows at home, usually we will do, we'll fix the wire mesh to prevent the entry of mosquitoes. So which are the mosquitoes or housefly Aedes and Culex mosquitoes and houseflies? These are the few examples for this vector-borne agents for this vector-borne diseases. Okay, Aedes, Culex mosquitoes, houseflies. These are few examples or few agents for this vector-borne diseases. Which are the diseases? Malaria, filariasis, dengue, chikungunya, etc. All these spreading through this mosquitoes or housefly spreading through the insects, especially spreading through these are vector-borne diseases: malaria, filariasis, dengue, chikungunya. The next, diseases can be now prevented, vaccines and immunization. Okay, so especially for children, you would have seen that in each age, different ages, we will be giving the vaccinations. Okay, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, because it is mainly for preventing diseases. Okay, so it can be prevented by vaccines and immunization. Vaccines eradicate smallpox, polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus. For all these diseases, vaccines are available nowadays. Also, especially for children, they will take below 10 years, till 10 years, the children are taking these vaccines. Smallpox vaccine, polio drops, diphtheria, pneumonia, tetanus vaccine, all these. Through biotechnology, we can make available newer and safer vaccines. Through biotechnology, we can make new type of vaccines and also safer vaccines. Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enabled us to effectively treat infectious diseases. So nowadays we can avoid, or we can treat all these infectious diseases because we are discovering new antibiotics. Clear? So we are inventing new antibiotics and also various other drugs. It can enable us to effectively treat infectious diseases. Then what is meant by immunity? The overall ability of the host to fight against disease causing organism, it is called immunity. So what is immunity? The overall ability, this common term is very common in this COVID-19 case. All are telling you need immunity. What is meant by this immunity? The overall ability of the host to fight against disease causing organism, that is called immunity. The foreign agents could be pathogens or any foreign substance, which in turn could cause disease in host. Okay, the foreign agents could be pathogens or any foreign substance, which in turn could cause disease in host. So types of immunity, there are two types: innate immunity and acquired immunity. Which are the two types? Innate immunity and acquired immunity. What is meant by innate immunity? Which is present from the time of birth and is not pathogen specific. At the time of birth, the baby will come out from the mother's womb, the child or the baby is having some immunity. Okay, it's a present at the time of birth and it's not pathogen specific. It is not like there are different pathogens and different bacteria, viruses, fungus, protozoans. So it's not a pathogen specific. It's common, like that is called innate immunity. Second, acquired immunity means not from the time of birth and is pathogen specific. That acquired, later you are acquiring. Okay, it is not from the time of birth. Later you are getting, after the birth you are getting this immunity, and it is pathogen specific. For each pathogen, your body will produce antibiotic to kill that particular pathogen or particular bacteria. So that is called is pathogen specific. Immunity is conferred based on memory that immune system have for that pathogen. Clear? Then the immune system, we told just now, innate and acquired. Innate, physical barriers, natural killer cells, macrophages. Acquired, two types: cell-mediated, humoral. Cell-mediated, TNB cells, humoral, antibody-mediated. Okay, so now we will learn detail about each one. Innate immunity is non-specific type of defense which is present at the time of birth. I told it is present at the time of birth. It is non-specific. Okay, it is not specific for particular pathogen. Immunity is provided by different barriers which prevent entry of foreign agents in body. So in this innate immunity, immunity is provided by different barriers which prevent entry of foreign agents in body. Innate immunity consists of 4 types of barriers. Which are these 4 types of barriers? Physical barrier, physiological barrier, cellular barrier, cytokine barrier. Which are the 4 barriers? Physical barrier, physiological barrier, cellular barrier, cytokine barrier. So let us see one by one. What is physical barrier? Physical barrier means barrier which prevents entry of microbes into the body which comes in contact with body. Which barrier which prevents entry of microbes into the body which comes in contact with body? One is skin. main barrier which prevents entry of the microorganisms. One is your skin. Suppose there is no skin, you think you got cut or wound, it's open. Easily the germs can enter into the body. Okay, so skin, one main barrier, which it is a physical barrier, which prevents entry of the microorganisms. Second, mucus. Mucus coating you can see inside the nose. There is a hairs and mucus which prevent the entry of microbes, and also inside the ear. In many places, the mucus is present. Clear? Present at epithelium lining of the respiratory, in the lungs or windpipe. Epithelial lining of the respiratory, mucus is present. Gastrointestinal, intestines, and also urogenital tracts. All these places mucus is present. So what this mucus? It attract microbes. It's a sticky like things. So the microbe, it will not enter into the body. It will stick to that mucus coating. Okay, like that we can prevent the entry of the microbes. So these are the physical barriers, especially skin and mucus coating. Physiological barrier. What is meant by physiological barrier? Body secretions of body act as a physiological barrier and prevents microbial growth. There are some secretions. Body itself, different organs of the body, they secrete some, produce some secretions. They act as a physical barrier. Okay, and it prevents microbial growth. Example, in the stomach. Stomach produces a acid HCl, hydrochloric acid. It can prevent microbial growth. It can kill microbes. Mouth, which contains saliva. Eyes, tears. Suppose any dust or something enter into the eye, you think immediate water will come. Eyes, it's watering. Along with that water, the dust particle or microbes, it will come out. Okay, these all are physiological barriers. So body secretions of body act as a physiological barrier and prevent microbial growth. Example, stomach, which produce acid like hydrochloric acid. Mouth, saliva. Eyes, tears. All these are examples for physiological barrier. The next is cellular barrier. Certain cells of body eradicate microbes and provide immunity. So inside the body, what is made up of cells? Certain cells eradicate microbes and provide immunity. Act by engulfing pathogen and destroy them by secreting certain chemical against them. How they will do? If any pathogen is entering, immediately it will engulf and secrete some chemicals to kill that particular pathogen. Clear? Act by engulfing pathogen and destroys them by secreting certain chemicals against them. Best example, tissues which mainly act as cellular barrier, that is leukocytes. It's very common, leukocytes, also called WBC, white blood cells. Okay, so there are RBC, WBC platelets. In this WBC, it is also known as leukocytes, which is a main organ, a main cell which kills microbes or pathogens. Clear? Then leukocytes, WBC, polymorphonuclear leukocytes, PMNL, polymorphonuclear leukocytes, neutrophils, and monocytes, and natural killer. It's a type of lymphocytes, and macrophages in tissues can phagocytose and destroy microbes. All the cells can phagocytose means they can engulf the pathogen and they can kill by secreting some chemicals. Okay, so which are the cells? Leukocytes or WBC, polymorphonuclear leukocytes, PMNL, polymorphonuclear leukocyte, neutrophils, monocytes, natural killer, it's a type of lymphocyte. All these can kill pathogens or microbes. Okay, then fourth type, it is cytokine barriers. What is meant by cytokine barriers? Proteins, they are also known as interferons, protects healthy cells from invasion of pathogens. So these proteins or interferons, what they will do? Protects healthy cells from the, already the few cells it is destroyed by pathogens, but we have to protect the other cells. Okay, healthy cells. That who will do this? Proteins or interferons will do. Protects healthy cells from invasion of pathogens, usually secreted from virus infected cells. Usually they are secreted from virus infected cells. What are interferons? Protect non-infected cells from further viral infection. Okay, so few cells already infected. So this interferons protect other cells, non-infected cells, from further viral infection. Clear? Then next type, it is acquired immunity. I told it is not getting by the time of birth. It is pathogen specific and characterized by memory. So two specialty, we don't have this by birth. Other one is innate immunity we are getting at the time of birth, but acquired immunity we are not getting at the time of birth. Later we are acquiring. It is pathogen specific and characterized by memory. When pathogen encounters the body for first time, body responds by producing initial response, that is primary immune response, low intensity. So one pathogen entered into the body immediately produce what? Antibody to kill that pathogen. It is called a primary immune response, but it will be little low intensity. When same pathogen encounter again, body elicits a highly intensified secondary or anamnestic response. So second time the same pathogen will enter, body is ready to kill that pathogen. It will produce more antibodies. Okay. So body elicits a highly intensified secondary or anamnestic response. Then secondary response produced in body is due to memory of first encounter of pathogen. So how the body will do secondary response? Secondary response produced in body due to memory of first encounter of pathogen. Okay, one example I'll tell you. Suppose you are taking chickenpox vaccination. What they are injecting for any vaccination, so they are injecting first, they are injecting little amount of the germs vaccine. Suppose which germ is causing this disease, the particular germ, little they will inject, immediate, not more, little they will be injecting. We will get fever that time. It means the body start to produce antibiotic to kill that particular germ. Okay, so the body antibiotic produced and kill the germs. Next time you think chickenpox virus entered the body is ready. Okay, that is called a secondary response. Body is ready to already antibody produced. Body is ready to kill that virus. Once that virus will enter, body can highly amount more antibody will produce and it can kill the virus. So that is in all the vaccinations that is happening. So secondary response produced in body is due to memory of first encounter of pathogen. Which are the types of acquired immunity? One is antibody mediated immunity or humoral immunity. One is called antibody mediated immunity or humoral immunity. Second, CMI, cell mediated immunity. Second one is cell mediated immunity, short form is CMI. Okay, so then the next class we'll be learning more detail about this acquired immunity. Thank you, students.